It's all been leading up to this.
Going home?
We already went home last video.
I know, but it was nice.
Yeah, killed our neighbors as well. That's it though, it's like we still got some other things to do before we dive even deeper into the madness that is the remaining endings of this game. But this video is dedicated to, I'd say, a very fun part of Cruelty Squad. Well, fun when you get to the point where you are fully comfortable with the mechanics, your equipment, and how to use them, and that is getting S ranks, which might as well be speedruns, because rankings for missions in this game is entirely based on time. You do not have to worry about killing X number of enemies or avoiding human casualties or anything like that. And I am doing some very specific things for prep, which this might seem very cheeky of me, but I am immediately going to use Cruelty Squad HQ to boost myself down to power and misery, just for the extra damage protection. Even though I am not going to be doing these speedruns on punishments, because I already did that. If you look at each level's score counters, they have different categories for the different ranks, and there's a skull icon that fills in every time you complete a level on punishment mode for the first time, which we've already done that, thankfully. So it's just a matter of giving us as much protection as I go as fast as I can, and just soak up any amount of hits I possibly can, because some of these can be a bit tight. We're talking sub 1 minute for most of these levels.
And now we're basically beef jerky with a pair of eyes.
Yep. Traversing the grid of death.
I wonder if that'll have any deeper meaning later.
Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, there's the 2 C ranks from last time. The reason why it's 2 C ranks, whereas most of the other levels are only 1, is because it gives you ranks for 2 different types of runs. One where you equip yourself with any type of firearms, and the other where you choose to go with only stock weapons. However, that does not apply to any implants, which is good because the implants are the only way you're able to make some of these times, if we're being honest. So what you'll see with every level is that you're going to witness I realized at this point I forgot one more step as well in the process of this, is another thing that makes going through the levels a lot easier. There is a setting to dial back the amount of civilians present at a level, which are the randomly generated NPCs, all the way down to 0. This actually affects the what is it, the score counter when you complete a mission, where it shows how many civilians in the level were killed or are still alive. This just removes any of the non-unique NPCs, which means we know that pretty much everyone we come across is an enemy and can either avoid or shoot them on sight. But yeah, the idea is that you're going to see each level twice, one with a preferred weapon loadout, and then the other where I do it with the stock weapons, most often being the original silenced pistol and SMG.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you say stock weapons, is that the ones that are unlocked at the beginning of the game?
Correct. If it's any of the 4 that are available, once you start a fresh file, those are valid.
Right.
Anyway, here's how we take care of the first target. Long-range gas grenade. Also very handy because of how rapid fire this is going to be. You can see in the bottom right corner, I have the individual recorded times that I got when I completed these runs that were recorded, with stock in parentheses to let you know, yes, this is the one where I actually beat it, with the original weapons. Sometimes I get lucky with the stock weapon runs, and I actually complete it faster than I do with the custom ones. Which, if that happens, it on the results screen, or the scoreboard when you are at the level select, it basically overwrites the non-stock weapon time, because it's faster than that. So if you really wanted to speedrun 100%ing the entire game from a fresh save, the way you would do it is to just do these levels only once with stock weapons, and then it would just like count as an S rank for both categories.
So going for the harder difficulty essentially covers both.
Pretty much. Using the Biojet, which propels us forward at high speeds by expunging shit out of holes in our backs. Pretty much like the best tool for like circling around the perimeter of like these housing complexes where like the targets in paradise are.
Glad we don't have to clean this up afterwards.
Yep. Grenade's really handy, just like, it is so much more effective than the rocket as far as like fire and forget weapons go, just because the range of that gas cloud is insane. Also, you probably saw, like, out of the corner of your eye, yeah, much like the gunk boosters, using the Biojet does leave behind a very nasty, like, trail of bodily fluids behind.
Visible trail, I think, is the worst part.
Yeah. Also, there was like a thunk sound you heard. That's using like another handy equipment that goes in the head slot called, like, I think I forget the full name, but it's a helmet. I think it's a composite helmet or something like that. But the idea is that it's the sort of thing where like its effects are designed to be random, but having it be random is ultimately better than non-existent at all. Because what it does is that it has a random chance of preventing any kind of damage on hit. This could be like damage from enemies shooting you, or more often, in my case, fall damage. Anyway, easiest assassination possible. Done.
And we're done.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we still have to... We can't bring the rocket weapon again, so we gotta Gripendix our way up the sinister pyramid.
Yeah, when I said that the speedruns of this game can literally take like 10 seconds, I was not joking.
Yeah, this is like one of the best early examples of that being possible. Anyway, here's something real goofy, because I've been wanting to find more reasons to use the Bolt ACR since we got it in office. As well as the flower shoot, which slows our descent. This is clearly, like, not what, like, the top of a building like this should be normally. Like, this is not how it's supposed to look. But that's fine, because the targets are close enough that we can just shoot radiation through the ceiling and be done with it.
Okay, so you're saying that when buildings look like rotted hamburger meat, that's a bad thing?
I mean more in the game design sense, where it looks like any other game would probably like try and make something that resembles a roof. This looks more like there are literal holes in the geometry, and they did not expect you to like try and move yourself out of bounds.
Okay, I mean, either way, I still need to talk to some professionals. So.
Yeah, that's true. Alas, we cannot use the Bolt ACR for this second run, so this is basically all about doing the ideal normal route, as it were. Kind of similar to how I did it in the, well, not exactly like how I did it in the main playthrough, because I went in through, like, a different route. But this is, like, the best, fastest, and safest route possible. And then the most reliable exit is to get to one of the bathrooms, break open the toilets, and go into the sewers.
Still kind of weirded out by the fact he looks like a bounce house made of organs.
Yeah?
Never not gonna be weird to me.
Alright. So this one I think is like a fairly easy enough, like... Oh yeah, that's one thing I forgot to mention about the Biojet, and it threw me off for like a brief second. Equipping the Biojet replaces your kick. So I tried to kick him, and I just Biojetted directly into his back, and it did nothing. Anyway, splash damage from rockets goes through walls. So, yeah, easiest assassination in the world. But how do we do that again, but without explosives?
Marginally more difficult.
Again, in that same instance, I still forgot that I had the Biojet and was instinctually wanting to kick the bastard. So we're gonna get as close as we can using the Gripendix, flying around, or like bouncing around, bungee cording, whatever the hell. Shoot it from above, and then quickly get back to the door before the shutter closes. It's just started to close. I was so lucky there.
Yeah, you have no time whatsoever.
Now, this is one where it's like, I'm still amazed at how, like you see, like, the time that is recorded on here. The difference between regular and stock is milliseconds apart. Anyway, Grapendix Flower Shoot makes it real easy to very quickly get up to the roof and just avoid all of the other floors in John Oliver's castle.
Yeah, I imagine the stock version's not going to be much different.
Yeah, not really. That's kind of the only thing that I kind of have regrets about, but at the same time, it's like getting the absolute best and, like, repeatable strategies for some of these speedruns are the sort of things where it's like, it's clear that it's less weapon dependent and more implant dependent. So yeah, like, if unfortunately I cannot guarantee, like, in every, like, situation for, like, these S-rank runs that normal and stock weapon versions will look different. But I mean, hey, at least we can irradiate our landlord through the wall.
Always satisfying.
Yep, and now we just swing like grotesque body horror Spider-Man to the alleyways and escape.
David Lynch's Spider-Man.
I
just like the regular one, but with slightly less self-loathing and ennui.
No, I just wanted a version of that, so that also means we could get David Lynch's version of Green Goblin.
Oh, it would just be Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, that's true.
He would just show up and he'd be like, "Hi, I'm Willem Dafoe."
Just easily transplant that version of Norman Osborn. I'm down with that.
Or failing that, bringing back Dennis Hopper.
Oh God, was he supposed to be?
No, I mean just because he worked with Dennis Hopper in a few movies, most notably.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Velvet.
Yeah. Too bad he's dead, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, bring him back from the dead.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, that sniper up there is another instance of how this game likes to occasionally throw random enemies that are supposed to be from a super secret difficulty setting, like, into the main game. Also real disconcerting, obviously, that where it's like I still forget every now and then how it's like, yeah, ever since we completed the first ending, every single water source is now just blood red. We're in an ocean of blood.
Blood ocean.
Yeah, but also here's what I was talking about as well. This is like the first instance where you can see, like, the stock time, weirdly enough, is actually faster than what I did without the stock weapons. But because, again, it's like both of these use the Grapendix, and I think when I was doing the second run, like, I got a bit more efficient with how I used it.
Yeah. I mean, also,
anyway,
with ones like that, there's a couple of times where you, like, clearly, like, hesitate, so
yeah,
it could have been even faster.
True, because it's like, Grapendix, still a very tricky but highly rewarding grappling hook to use. Its versatility is unmatched.
But you were going to say?
Oh yeah, but it's Alpine Hospitality is an interesting one when I was, like, doing the runs for this, because, like, this one's fairly easy. 3 of the 4 targets I can just irradiate with the bolts, it's fine. But it's what happens during the stock where it's like, for whatever reason, I was kind of not on my game when it came to, like, perfectly timing, like, my activation of the Grapendix. So I ended up using an item we got from House called Goo Overdrive, which... to go again with, like, our gross body horror Spider-Man comparisons, we basically now can crawl on walls like Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Like any surface, including windows. The problem is that, like, it basically completely cancels out any sort of, like, momentum, and you can't really pull away as easily, is the idea. So it presented its own challenge, but I was getting kind of tired after a point of, like, missing my Grapendix shots. And, like, this was, like, the best chance I had for, like, getting an S rank.
Kind of reminds me of, do you remember those sticky hands you used to get as a kid?
Yep, definitely remember those.
Makes me think of one of those.
Now, Bog Business, we've already made mention before in the past when we went through this level how this is probably my most hated level. This was reinforced for me in all of the times I had to do, like, the S rank runs of this. Because it's like, I want to avoid Toxic Crisis as much as possible, so that means needing the hazard suit. Problem is, with the hazard suit, that means I don't get to use the stealth suit. so people get to see me easily through the shitty draw distance. But I mean, this is fine enough as is, obviously.
Yeah,
they'll have to take fall damage on occasion, which sucks. Yeah,
I've seen a couple of speedruns which basically do this as Spider-Man, not touching the ground whatsoever.
Yeah, it's very impressive, but like not as like streamlined and fluid as like, you know, some other Spider-Man games out on the market.
Yeah, the PS4 one's surprisingly good.
Yeah, it is. I definitely enjoyed it. But yeah, this one is like, this is where I really found myself absolutely hating the idea of having to S-rank this, because it's like, I wanted to have like the stealth suit as like additional support, which meant I had to get even better at like using the appendix. Oh wait, no, it's not the stealth suit actually. It was the Biojet specifically to get me around faster. But the problem is like, it becomes kind of tricky when you're trying to juggle all of these inputs to like dash forward really fast as well as jump, and trying to keep track of, okay, how many jumps have I used up, because like hugging these slopes does not count as the ground. So if there ever came a point when I was doing practice runs of this where it was like I did not know if I used up all my jumps or whatever, then like I was boned because I would be guaranteed to take fall damage.
Yeah, I imagine that was purposeful so that people couldn't just do that, essentially.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, just zooming past everyone, don't mind me. This is, again, a very good reason for why I wanted to have power in Misery, just in case I took any stray hits. This is a very quick way, actually, to get back to where the main target is. Like,
yeah, I wasn't sure if we'd seen that before.
Yeah, well, I think like I looked up briefly in the main mission playthrough where you saw like there was like a panel in the ceiling that had that same like neon green skull texture, and that was basically the hint of where it came from.
Yeah, I vaguely recognized it, but I was like, did we do this?
Yeah, like as it turns out, it's like unsurprisingly, the route I showed to get into the actual disgusting part of the meat mines was not the only way in there.
This game.
Yep. So we're gonna take the reverse route of what we normally do, where it's like we would typically go underground, find that ladder, and break open the vent, and it leads us back to the to the starting area. This time we know where that exit is, so we're gonna use it as an entrance. Again, a very good level as far as like routes to take, even if I still maintain it is, in terms of atmosphere, the creepiest fucking thing this game does.
I mean, the glistening meat doesn't help much, let's be honest.
Like, the glistening meat, like the weird wailing in like the background audio track. Just the horrible implications of everything. Which, I mean, to be fair, that's every level already.
Incidentally, I'm starting up a new podcast, The Glistening Meat and the Awkward Implications.
It sounds more like an Aristocrats-style comedy routine.
It is, but in the form of a prog rock band.
Ah, okay. That's how it works. And also, probably like the Aristocrats makes just about as much sense.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go to the level where I desperately wish there was still a way to get onto the rooftop and have like another entry point, but alas, this level does not want to do that, so fuck you, casino. Fuck you, fat bird.
You don't let me do what I want to, so now you're gonna die.
Yep. Doing like the tiniest like bunny hopping chain in a vent where I can't actually jump, but I'm still like rocking the arrow keys and mouse back and forth.
Yes. Yeah, if we didn't already have a seizure warning in effect, that would be it.
No, seizure warning would just be me just violently shaking in all directions. At least it's like consistent.
No, that's worse.
Yeah, well, whatever. This is still like the safest route to take, all things considered. Because, again, there's still that middle room on the bottom. I slowed down there for a minute because I forgot I still had the appendix attached to that point. And I could not keep stretching out. But yeah, it's just anything to avoid that death room in the bottom center of this back area. Just, it's terrible.
Your gun appeared to be missing at the end there.
Yeah. I mean, anything just to use the, like the skull gun, since I couldn't bring the rocket launcher.
That's why.
Yep. Bouncy suit to soften the blow. Take a high-powered sniper rifle. Shoot him. Go back into the sewers, and we're out.
You'd be surprised how many problems a high-powered sniper rifle will solve.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, you're starting to see the more common theme now, where because, like, when you get into the missions where the routes aren't, like, wildly diverging in, like, how I do them, the stock weapon playthrough ends up being faster most of the time, because it's the one I do immediately after. And this time, I even had the stealth suit. I just used, like, the gunk boosters or whatever to, like, soften the blow that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's Neuron Activator without the effects of, like, the tattered rain hat. So, again, here's the actual seizure warning if you really need one.
But if you made it this far, then I'm pretty sure you're gonna be okay? Question mark?
No, it's fine. Just, like, have, like, just don't have it in full screen and watch in a brightly lit environment. Sling our way up there, shoot him without entering the room, all this stuff. It's pretty simple. Just, yeah, and this is like, it's funny, I was just like, I'm already blanking on all the different, like, times I got on the previous stages, but I think even with Miner's Miracle, I think the first one was still, like the non-stock weapon playthrough was still, like, over a minute. But yeah, like, as you can tell, like,
there's been, like, two or three that have been over a minute.
Yep, yeah, and it's gonna be more like that as we get closer to the end of the levels. This time I'm not using the tattered rain hat. It just so happened to, like, trigger, like, the stormy weather effect naturally when I loaded in. So your eyes are spared. Marginally.
In fairness, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was trying to rush in and out of that nightclub as fast as possible. Yeah, and just thinking about this as well is also getting me so excited for the fact that, like, this isn't the only S-rank playthrough. There's straight up another, because of course there is more to this game in terms of, like, difficulty and, like, challenge runs than even this is presenting. A video that is all about highlighting, hey, how crazy it is that you can speedrun this game so fast because you have a bunch of broken, like, augments.
This one I've seen quite a few before, and quite a few speedruns of before. And they either are incredibly quick and cut and dried, or absolute madness.
Yeah, this one's especially fun to do because it's like, it's a win-win in either case. Either, like, because fortunately, like, the offices, they're always on, like, the third window pane from the bottom one. So, like, and they're always around the corners. So, when you shoot the grenade in, either A, you get lucky and, like, the effects of the gas cloud from the grenades does kill the targets, or, more likely, what will happen is that because the NPC AI does not know how to, like, process when there is, like, no railing, they'll just walk off to their deaths. Sometimes. Except that one dude. He was just standing there. And we still gotta climb up with the goo overdrive because we're body horror Spider-Man to kill Elsa Holmes.
Yeah, there was one really good playthrough I saw of this stage, which was just basically ascend to the top, bungee down, kill a guy, bungee back up, bungee down, kill someone.
Yep.
It was nuts.
This time, though, it's like, I still do the same process of essentially, like, killing them from, like, outside of the building, breaking open the windows and whatnot, but it does, like, it's obviously a lot trickier to manage because I don't have the grenades as, like, a chance to possibly, like, clean things up real easily, and I still have to rely on, like, the goo overdrive in the event that I am not on top of things with the Gripendix.
And you still managed to do it quicker.
Somehow. I'm surprised. Granted, I did have practice runs that I had to, like, throw away as a result, but
yeah,
it's something. I don't know. This is still fun. Like, it is, like, again, like, the whole insane office building layout they got going on here works really well for a variety of routes. It's definitely one of the things that makes me like it quite a bit as far as, like, the late game levels go. Just a kick for good measure, because we've not done that for a while. And all the while, still just... Oh my god, yeah, I like, just the memories of, like, the frustration I was having when, like, I was screwing up, like, things with the Grapendix is, like, flooding back to me, because I just remember all the things where it's like, god damn it, like, it's too out of range, or I screwed up, like, the buildup of momentum, so it's not gonna launch me as far, and oh god. This, meanwhile, Archon Grid, again, as you can see, it's another one where the stock time is faster, but this is one where I'd say that the reason it's faster is because it highlights, like, a serious problem with this level, as far as why I don't like it as much. Because of how so much of it is just based around you going through these, like, what are essentially, like, top-down mazes from a first-person perspective. So you don't get any fun, crazy skips you can do with verticality.
Yeah, you're kind of locked into doing what you need to do because you need to do it.
Yeah, and unfortunately this means I have to use the same route that I demonstrated in the main playthrough, but that's because it is also, like, objectively the fastest and safest to use.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other way about it. Just, like, take that same series of drops, shoot Abraxas's 3 faces, and then rush to the exit. Funny thing as well with this particular level, because of how it goes to an ending cutscene, you don't actually get, like, a scoreboard, like, you don't actually get to see what rank and time you got until you go back to the level select. So I kind of had to, like, do this all on the hopes that, like, what I was doing actually was going to result in, like the par time I needed, and fortunately it was. Plus, I'd already seen enough, like, videos of people doing speedruns before and even listing what the expected par times are, and it's like, oh yeah, if you get it under a minute and a half both times, you're good to go.
So I take it when they say stock weapons, it's just whatever weapons you go in with, you're allowed to pick up ones during the stage. Correct.
It's what you start with, which is, I'm very glad that's the case, because it's like, yeah, like right there. Just I could use that rocket launcher, but at the same time, it was like, oh yeah, I did take the time to pick up a heavy machine gun. You know,
yep.
I didn't need to, but it was still faster. Now, here's something bizarre. This is without a doubt my absolute favorite use of the Grapendix. The dart gun's dart. It's straight up, it counts as, like, a physical projectile in universe. It's not a hit scan bullet. So,
oh god, I am getting Team Fortress, sorry, not Team Fortress, Unreal Tournament flashbacks now.
Now we just need big slopes to slide on. We can also turn this into tribes.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man. But yeah, it's like that one, admittedly, like, I wish I had discovered that on my own, but unfortunately that was something where I had already seen that in a video, but I was like, this is already so cool, I need to show this off in the playthrough. Like, this is too good. This is the ultimate proof of the Grapendix being the best grappling hook in any video game ever.
Yeah,
its only downside, maybe that it's hard, but fuck you. You could attach it to, like, a trank dart and use it to propel yourself, like, however many feet into the air and just skip an entire map. You could do this in Paradise if you wanted, and it works just as well.
Yeah, because I saw the trank dart and the trank gun, and I was like, wait a second.
Yep. And fortunately, the trank gun is a stock weapon, so we could use it on both attempts. It's fantastic. God bless Cruelty Squad. This is why it is rapidly approaching one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, see, when game devs talk about emergent gameplay, they usually just mean, like, it's like a bunch of enemies spawned out of nowhere and ruined your day. This is what I mean. Yeah, it is true emergent gameplay when it comes as a result of player ingenuity. Yeah. Like, that's the best part. One more dart for the road as we take a quick trip back to our house. I just imagine how amazingly fucked up this is, where it's like, this is your main way of terrorizing the community that hates your guts. Literal death from above.
Yeah. And that's all the S ranks on the normal difficulties. Like I said, there's supposed to be one more S rank video a little bit later, and it gets even weirder. It gets even more fucked up.
Oh, and that I do not doubt for a second.